just like a war zone. That's how one eyewitness is describing this weekend's protests at a prestigious university in Iran's capital as security forces crack down on student protesters. Police swarmed the university campus to shut down a huge anti-government demonstration. Witnesses say they used pellet and paintball guns and batons to disperse the crowds and arrested an unknown number of students. Nationwide protests erupted after a 22-year-old woman died in the custody of the morality police and have escalated to calls for the government to resign. But Iran's supreme leader is blaming Iran's usual list of foes.
I
say clearly that these riots and the insecurity were engineered by the U.S. and the occupying false Zionist regime, as well as their paid agents, with the help of some traitorous Iranians abroad.
Well, I want to bring in CNN correspondent Jomana Karadsheh from Istanbul. And Jomana, after weeks of deadly protests, Iran's supreme leader has finally spoken, not to call for calm or reassess its policies, but rather to blame the US and other outside forces, claiming Iran's enemies engineered these riots.
You know, Lynda, for nearly 3 weeks, everyone has been wondering, where is the supreme leader? He hasn't really weighed in publicly on what is going on in the country. And finally today he came out and he spoke and he addressed these protests. But we heard the same sort of rhetoric that we have been hearing from regime officials, that this is all basically a foreign conspiracy, a plot by Israel, the United States and others to weaken and destabilize the great Islamic Republic. Clearly, again, this is the clerical establishment not willing to listen to the thousands of people who've taken to the streets, not willing to address their grievances, not willing to find any sort of middle ground. But that, Lynda, and this intensifying crackdown hasn't stopped the protests over the past 3 days. We have seen thousands of university students taking to the streets, protesting on campuses in different parts of the country. And on Sunday evening, a very disturbing incident unfolded at Sharif University in Tehran. Some would describe it as the MIT of Iran. And getting statements from the university, some of the video that has emerged, and speaking to one eyewitness, we were able to try and piece together what unfolded at Sharif University. And we have to warn our viewers that some of the scenes in this report, they may find disturbing. A snapshot of a night of horror at one of Iran's most prestigious universities. Chaos, panic, and fear as students, some of Iran's best and brightest, ran through the Sharif University car park in Tehran, chased by security forces on foot and on motorbikes. Those who couldn't escape the violent crackdown, hooded and taken away. We don't know what happened after this shot was fired. Birdshot and paintballs were used to crush the protest and to stop those who tried to film. As news spread, crowds gathered outside chanting, "Free the students." Fears of a repeat of the bloody 1999 crackdown on student protests. Students were attacked in their dormitories at Tehran University. CNN tracked down one of those who rushed to save students trapped inside. For his safety, were concealing his identity.
I saw this SOS call from Sharif coming, and one of my friends called, and he just told me that, please come save us, they are shooting at us. I took one of my friends with me so he could help me a little bit. So we got on our bikes and we went there, and we practically had to Captain America our way into the university because they had guns, they had paintball guns, they had batons. It was a war zone and there was blood everywhere.
No one really knows how many were hurt, how many were dragged away. The little video and harrowing accounts still trickling out paint a picture of the ruthless force used after students refused to attend classes and some chanted insults against the supreme leader.
When the students were let out by the security forces of the university, they were then stopped. They told that if you go near the subway station, we will start shooting. Go back into the university. One of the teachers, one of the professors was trying to get a few of the students out. They told him to get the children out and you can go. And he said no. After that, he came out of the car himself, locked the doors. They beat him up. A lot of the professors actually tried to save the students.
Students in their thousands are staging protests on campuses and on the streets across the country. What started with demands for justice and accountability for the death of Mahsa Amini has quickly morphed into more daring, widespread calls for regime change, for bringing down the repressive Islamic Republic. Anger that has been building for years, captured in video like this one. Protesters in Tehran tearing down and destroying the Islamic Republic street sign. The regime that has a bloody history of suppressing dissent is only just beginning to unleash all it's got against its own people. But defiant protesters say this time there will be no turning back.
No, 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 no. This is far from over. We are not scared. We are outraged. We are furious. These people think that we are the previous generation, that if they do this, we're going to just stop. We are not going to stop. This is a one-way road for us, because if we stop, they are going to kill even more people, take even more people into custody, torture them, rape them. These people can't do anything. So we won't stop. This is not the end. I promise you that.
And Lynda, this defiance, this determination, these are not just the words of this one young man. This is exactly what we have been seeing happening on the streets of so many cities across Iran. You've got this young generation of Iranians more emboldened than ever. They're rising up, risking everything for freedoms, rights, liberties they've never known. And they're continuing to do this despite this ongoing crackdown.
Really incredible to see that this is continuing week after week. Jomana, Karadsheh, our thanks to you.